The fundamentals are, and I have this argument with my dad all the time, he believes it's easier to be a property owner now than it was in the 80s or 70s. And the fundamentals are, back then you could buy a house with like 3 or 4 times your income. Now it's like an insane spread. The average age for a homeowner is going up.
Shared accommodation isn't going to be needed. People can't afford to get on the property ladder. You don't want to live with your mum and dad for the rest of your life. It's a sort of natural progression. You know, what a student's going to do, what a young professional straight out of uni going to do, where are they going to live? I don't see a world where they aren't a thing and a necessity.
Another really interesting stat, the second largest bank in 2022 and 2023 was the bank of mum and dad.
Interesting topic of conversation about HMOs. What was your investor saying then?
Investor came down on Tuesday, basically showed him HMO that we were doing in Wallingford, and he said, what are you going to do when these don't work anymore? So in XP, we've got HMOs. In Central Suites, we've obviously taken a little bit more to HMOs than anything else. I think they're great. I think they're the best cash flowing business model without all the aggravation of service accommodation, and the return on time is really good.
Yeah, I can't see a world where shared accommodation isn't going to be needed. People can't afford to get on the property ladder. You don't want to live with your mum and dad for the rest of your life. It's a sort of natural progression. You know, what a student's going to do, what a young professional straight out of uni going to do, where are they going to live? I don't see a world where they aren't a thing and a necessity.
The fundamentals are, and I have this argument with my dad all the time, he believes it's easier to be a property owner now than it was in the 80s or 70s or when he was sort of growing up and buying houses. And the fundamentals are, back then you could buy a house with like 3 or 4 times your income. Now it's like an insane spread of what your income needs to be paying. And this is talking about gross income that they look at. They don't look at disposable income because that's a very difficult metric to follow because obviously people spend a different amount. But against your actual income, and if you're buying a house with a mortgage, they'll look at 4.5 times your income, for an example. The fundamentals are the house pricing has gone up, the income hasn't gone up at the same level. So what you have is this disparity of affordability. And presenting exactly for the watchers on YouTube and not necessarily the podcast listeners is the average age for a homeowner is going up. And that is somewhat driven by habit. You know, maybe we're a bit more footloose and we're happy sharing or we're happy renting. But actually the fundamentals are, let's just assume that it wasn't a behavioural change. It is just less affordable to buy your own property. And that's just the fundamentals. The income against asset value increase is not marrying up and it's less easy to buy properties. And another really interesting stat, the second largest bank in 2022 and 2023 was the bank of mum and dad. So it's baby boomers that have collated a lot of value in the market. Typically, guess what, in their assets, they're then passing that down generations so that people can get onto the property ladder. So huge like macro behavioral, almost legacy economics there that takes a bit to get your head around. These are things that it's good to study and understand because we also have an aging population. There's more 80-year-olds than 21-year-olds in the UK at the moment. So end of care living could be huge, even more than first time buying living. So everyone's talking about, is the potential support for help to buy going to come back? What about help to die? I literally just made that up. If there's more volume in that area of the market, it is something to definitely consider. The fundamentals are, we're taking a step back and looking at macro stuff. You know, when someone asks you a question, is something going to be around for 5 to 10 years? That is hugely macro outlook that you need to look at. So let's look at my favorite little thing that we built in Central Suites, which is our room price comparison. All it basically is it's comparing the other comparable option for a renter. We're just going to assume that people are saving up to get onto the property ladder and buy their own property, and we're assuming that's their sort of mantra of what they want to do. Essentially, when we were delivering our HMO rooms to the market, you know, even my mum was saying £850 a room, that sounds expensive. And I go, well, all the bills are included. And if you actually work out what that costs as a saving, it's hugely competitive and works out really well for the tenant.
Sorry to interrupt. If you are tuning into this, love the idea of investing in or developing property, you have at least £50,000 cash, but don't have the time to deploy it, then why not consider investing in one of our XP projects? We're always raising more investment for our property pipeline, so head over to our website and register your interest to work with us now. back to the video.
And to put that in perspective, if you wanted to rent one of our rooms in Henley-on-Thames, that's an ensuite bedroom, you probably have about 60 metres squared of shared utility, kitchen, lounge and cinema room area to share. So that's a much larger space than you would have if you had a one-bedroom flat. We've recently done a back-to-brick renovation, and we can afford to spend good money on these assets because we basically have a model where, because we've got multiple rooms under one roof, it enables us to have more surplus capital to make them the best quality stock in Henley. So you've got the best stock at 850, including all the bills, council tax, electricity, gas, water, furnishing, Wi-Fi and TV, etc., etc. Against, if that person were to walk down the street and try something else, and something else in this context is a single let flat, they'll be paying a minimum of £1,000 per month. Is actually probably a bit shy. They'll probably be paying a little bit more in Henley at the moment. Council tax would be a minimum of £125, all of the bills inclusive. We think that would come to a minimum of £1,370, and they'd probably be tied in for a minimum of 12 months, maybe 24 months. It wouldn't be as well fitted out because the margins are a lot thinner on single let, so the landlords don't want to reinvest their capital expenditure to put in a new kitchen or redo the bathroom, and you end up with a pretty poor quality property for £1,370 a month against paying £850. And if you actually work that out as a year's savings, it's £520 per month, and the savings per year is £6,240 per year. So if you assume, like traveling, that's 4 holidays. If you want to put a deposit down on a house, that could be, within 5 years, you could have a decent deposit towards a house. This is actually how we see ourselves fitting in the market. It's a well-required product that slots right in between buying your own house and actually renting other stock that's a good quality. People care about the tenants, and it's flexible. You can move into our house and serve shorter notice than moving into a one-bedroom flat if there's a change in your job, or you need to relocate, or you're moving in with your significant other. We just think this model is going to only get stronger. It stood the test of time when interest rates pushed HMO mortgages up to like 7 or 8%. We were still making a net margin. Single lets weren't. So like as a landlord, great. High cash flow, so it enables us to grow our portfolio much stronger than if we were building a buy-to-let portfolio. And yeah, we love it. We think that this is here for a very long period of time, and it is the way the market is going. And to be quite frank, if I was relocating to a new area and I was in a relationship or single and I had no social life outside of work and it was a really good product, I would say there's a lot of bad HMOs out there, but if it was a really good product, I would probably choose the shared living model. It sounds weird meeting a load of strangers, but we actually sometimes visit our properties and all of the tenants are going out on a Sunday together for a Sunday roast, and it's really nice to see that dynamic build and building that community. And we have seen our tenants then go on and live together after, so buy their own house together, or whether they rent a 2-bedroom flat thereafter because they do want a bit more privacy. So absolutely love it. I think it's here to stay, and it's great for landlords like us that really want to create value in the market, and that's really what Entrepreneurial is, solving a problem. And we've solved the problem. In what world is single let's going to get cheaper than our rooms? No world. Where is this going to go? It's only going to get stronger.
The big thing for me that hasn't been touched on was the social side of stuff, which you've now mentioned. I think, when I was moving to London for the first time, didn't really know anyone in Clapham. Living with, 7 other young professionals, getting to know new people, mingling with new sort of social circles. It was amazing. Such a good time of my life. You have a lot of fun, and living in that type of co-living shared house environment straight out of uni is a fantastic place to be. So I don't think this is going anywhere. I think it's only going to get stronger, like you say.
If you got value from this video, make sure you click the subscribe button down below and ring the notification bell, because we release one video at least every week, so you'll be the first to get notified. See you on the next one.